Leg extensions are by far a special type of exercise that targets a very specific muscle that is not targeted by most compound lifts like the squats and deadlifts. Rather, it's more of an isolation exercise that is used as part of a leg hypertrophy training approach. And in this video, I will be showing you everything from what muscles this exercise targets, the specific papers backing the effectiveness of this exercise, for who this exercise is best for, the common mistakes while doing this exercise, and a bonus in the end on how to do the leg press the best way possible. The leg extension as the best way possible. So make sure to stick to the end of the video so you can see if this exercise is right for you and your goals. When I started my lifting journey, I bought the program from one of the most popular fitness YouTubers right now called Jeremy Ethier. This program is more of a compound lifts approach, so you can save time and also get the best of it in optimizing your gains. But I never actually started my routine with the leg extension included. But after I had a horrible sciatica pain almost 2 years ago by doing the wrong decisions at the squats and deadlifts, I changed my whole routine and realized how effective the leg extensions actually are. This exercise targets the quadriceps muscles, as the movement part of this exercise is knee flexions and extensions, where we mostly do this movement with our quadriceps, which this is the agonist muscle, and the hamstrings being the antagonist muscle. If you saw my leg press video, this exercise also works in the sagittal part of the anatomy plane, and most importantly, it's most of an isolation movement rather than a compound movement, as I mentioned now. We target mostly one group of muscles instead of more than two. So stop thinking that the leg extensions are for your whole quads because maybe you are not giving it sufficient stimulus to one muscle or another. But this, of course, is a machine exercise. And as a mistake some beginners believe is that machines are useless. And I never actually had the opportunity of using this to my newbie gains advantage in this exercise back then when I was started lifting. But if you use them with the right techniques, this exercise can be one of the most effective for quad growth. And here are some of the supporting studies so we can see what are the best results of this exercise. This first study, we can see the conclusions that while being in different hip angles, the rectus femoris, which is a muscle in the middle of your quads, can achieve a higher stimulus in this exercise. As for how to do it, your gym should have the leg extension machine with the seat inclined at this degree of around 40 degrees. If not, still implementing the techniques and form later in the video will help, so stick with it. The second study is that it also shows that why the leg extension is a great exercise to target the muscle in the middle in your quads, as I said now, which is the rectus femoris, as this exercise induces greater activation of this muscle than the Smith machine squat, even though it induces greater activation for the vastus medialis and vastus lateralis in the Smith machine squat. Finally, this very recent study starts this theme of training in a very high volume, as high as 52 sets per week. And this exercise used was the leg extensions. And even though this is not the best approach for most of us, it's still a good goal to achieve if you are finding it hard to grow your quads, which you have already seen this study in other videos of this niche. I highly recommend watching Jeff Nippert's video short talking about this very reason if you really want to train 52 sets per week. So I'll link that video in my description. But now, after observing some of the best studies out there on leg extensions and muscle growth, it's now a great moment to tell the don'ts of this exercise. Even though it is a machine exercise which can be easy, there is some things you should and should not do in this exercise, as it can lead to unnecessary back and knee pain. So please set your ego aside and listen to the most common mistakes I see in this exercise. Number one is that you're not grabbing the handles. Like for the leg press, this is a very similar mistake I see for the leg extensions. And I see some people grabbing their thighs or putting their hands behind their head, and apart from that, you look awkward doing it. You are leaving even some gains on the table by not focusing enough in the movement pattern and just going to point A to point B, which is not optimal for growth, of course. Number two is that you're not embracing your abs and glutes. This is also key to avoiding unnecessary back pain, and doing this can make you more stable, focus on the range of motion instead of just going to point A to point B like I said before, and actually feel a better contraction at the quads. And number three is that you're not training hard enough. Was also a mistake I made a lot, thinking I trained close to failure because I thought that once I felt a burning sensation in my legs, that was it. But I knew I could still manage 3 or even 5 more reps in those sets. So make sure to push yourself, even though you think is enough for you, which of course is not. Now that you know how to make the leg extensions correctly, I want to also address something that has come to my mind with these exercises, and it's the different training techniques I have been using to optimize my muscle building potential and try to minimize the potential of leaving even gains at my own table. And in my opinion, these are the best techniques I have used and have been recently studied, and a lot of fitness influencers are talking about it. I'm talking about Sam Sulek, Jeff Nipper, the science-based community too. So I think these 3 techniques can be part of your routine if you implement it, especially with this exercise. Now, the first one is a really old one, not that old, but it's very effective, and it's supersets. Supersets are just basically doing an exercise, resting for maximum 1 minute, and then going to the antagonist exercise after it. So like I said before, the quadriceps muscles are the agonist muscles, right? And the leg extension. Now, your hamstrings are the antagonist muscles because they do the opposite range of motion of the quadriceps. For example, the quads do the concentric movement, the hamstrings do the eccentric movement. And supersets can be a good way to implement this. So you can do a superset most commonly with the seated or lying leg curls just right after doing the leg extensions. Even you don't need to rest if you want to. Then rest up 1 minute, of course, after starting the superset again. As the muscle train is the antagonist muscle, and as I mentioned before. So the second technique I really enjoy a lot is long lengthened partials. This is when I am deep in this exercise in the 3rd or 4th set. I will feel more tired than the first ones, of course. So this technique is a good way to still give sufficient stimulus to the muscles while doing it in the lengthened part of this movement, especially for the quads. As you can see, you can do this too in back exercises and shoulder exercises too, but when we focus on the quads, trust me, this is also a very effective way to give the sufficient stimulus for growth. And number 3 is mind to muscle connection. One of the best techniques, yet some bodybuilders don't like this advice, is that you need to feel the muscles in the exercise you do. So if you do slow eccentrics or negatives at this exercise around 2 to 4 seconds, you will also have more potential to build more muscle. So always try to do this not only in leg extensions, but on mostly every single exercise you do in your routine. Try to do slow eccentrics. Trust me, you will feel more tired fast, but the good thing is that you're giving more stimulus to your muscles. Now let's go for the bonus of this video. Actually, it's not a bonus, but yeah, whatever. As most of us like bonuses in video games or school, this will be a heck of a cool bonus, right? And it's everything we have learned in this video and put it down in this tutorial in how to make the leg extension. So step number 1 is that set the seat in a position where your knees are aligned with the pivot point of the machine. Step 2, add the desired weight to do the desired sets and rep ranges, of course. Step 3 is that before execution or before doing the exercise, make sure to grab the handles and embrace your abs and glutes for more stability. Please don't bounce at the chair. This is a really common mistake I also see that I didn't mention before in this video. Now, step 4, while doing the execution, while doing so, do explosive concentrics and then do a 2 to 4 second eccentric to have a better potential for muscle growth. And finally, step 5, repeat for the amount of reps and sets, and you'll see the gains coming in with good technique and consistency. Now, training your legs is not easy for some, but a very effective exercise is leg extensions, as it's one of the most convenient and easiest exercises we can add to our routines to have a higher potential of building bigger and stronger legs. And if this is your goal but you are still a bit confused with more questions, you can sign up for my personal training with me in the link down below in the description. So thanks for watching, make sure to subscribe and also leave a like if you learned something. And speaking of learning, make sure to watch this next video in learning how to lose fat the right way.